I cannot stress this enough. If you skip through all my videos and you landed on this one is the one you want to focus on. With God's grace, I'm going to show you exactly how to start the business that I've started at 18 years old, which now I'm 21, producing $50,000 a month in revenue. I'm going to show you the exact systems, the processes. I'm going to share my screen, show you my software, show you my automations, literally everything that I've learned in the past 3 years. I'm going to put it in this video just so you can simply learn from it for completely free. And for those of you who don't know me, I'm John Aziz. I started my business at 18 years old. I went from broke, literally tearing my knee, my ACL, playing football, thinking I'm gonna go to college for it, to sitting on my ass, not being able to walk for 2 months, starting a business from absolutely nothing, failing, starting more businesses, and then eventually landing on this business right here, which I started at 18 years old. And now I've scaled to 10 plus properties that are producing money for me every single month. And I did this with limited funding, limited knowledge, limited resources. I was living in my dad's basement when I started this business. If I can do this at 18 years old, if I could start this business, why can't you? If you have the willpower, if you have the ambition, if you have the discipline to put in the work, you can do the same thing and you can do it better than me. At the end of the day, we're all humans. We're all different. The only reason we have success in our life is with God and hard work. With these two things mixed in together is how we see success. In this video, I'm just gonna give you as much sauce as I possibly can so I can put you on the right path. It doesn't matter what age you are. It doesn't matter if you're 18, doesn't matter if you're 16, doesn't matter if you're 20, 30, 40. You can truly benefit from this video. You can benefit from this business and you can use it as a stepping stone to completely transform your life just like I did. I'm in my dream house. I drive my dream car. I'm in a penthouse right now and I'm only 21 years old. I just turned 21 and all this took is some dedication, is some consistency and some discipline, and that's how I ended up in this situation. If you want to learn more about me, watch some of my previous videos, but we're gonna get into this video. We're gonna get into the sauce. We're gonna get into the information. Make sure to take notes as you're watching this video and don't get lazy. Don't click off because, oh, like, you know, my friend hit me up, I gotta go do something, or a distraction, or you gotta go out. Do not click off this video unless you really have to, because if you're clicking off this, you're missing an opportunity to actually learn something that's gonna benefit your life. And I talk so much in these videos of how people waste their freaking time. And if you simply just apply yourself, if you simply just learn, you can actually make something out of yourself. I'm literally gonna give you free sauce. This is stuff that people charge thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars for, but I'm gonna give it to you right in your face, right in your screen. All I'm asking you to do, sit down, take notes, grab a notepad, and DM me on Instagram. Follow my Instagram right now and DM me if you have any questions, and I can help you out with any questions that you have. But without further ado, let's get into the main frame of the video. I know I don't need to prove myself to anyone, but this is one of my dashboards right here. $38,000 in the past 30 days. This is one of my Airbnb accounts. You can imagine how much I'm making off the other accounts as well. The month that I'm recording this in May, I've made about $53,000 in revenue. And just showing you, like, if you listen to this freaking video, you can do the same exact thing that I'm constantly doing every single day, making money, being financially free. But not only that, by having the time of my day to do exactly what I want. Because the point of this business is for it to be automated, for you to enjoy your life while earning a high income. So what is this business and what does it consist of? In the simplest form, Airbnb arbitrage, rental arbitrage, freelance property scaling, whatever you want to call it, this is what it consists of, and this is why it works. It consists of you finding properties that are for rent on the market, which I'm going to show you exactly how to do once we get on the computer. You finding a property, you negotiating with the landlord of the property. You run numbers, you estimate your profit, and the deal ends up being good. You sign a lease, you furnish it, and then you list it onto Airbnb. It's a very simple business with very simple attributes and softwares, but you just need to learn the basics first. Why is this business better than traditionally buying a property and listing onto Airbnb? Let me tell you exactly why. Yes, there are perks in owning a property. When you own a property, the least amount you can put down is 3.5%. Likely 5%. Let's say you're buying a $400,000 property. You're putting down $20,000 in down payment and your repairs, and you still have to furnish the property. You'll be looking at around $30,000 for setup for one property, which with the method I'm talking about, you can set up multiple properties for $30,000. You can easily set up 6 properties that cost $5,000 a pop to set up, and you'll have 6 cash flowing Airbnbs versus just one. So there's much lower upfront costs when you go to rent a property property and you sublease it versus buying a property and then leasing it onto Airbnb. So why is it better renting than owning? The scalability aspect of it is tremendous. You can scale your Airbnb arbitrage / freelance property scaling business very, very easily, especially if you're leveraging your credit. This is why I mentioned in some of my previous videos, you don't need much funding to start this business, because if you build your credit up and you use your credit, you can start this business from having limited to no funds in your bank account. Let's say you utilize your credit and you get a 12-month 0% APR credit card. Once you get this credit card, and let's say the limit is $10,000, that means you have 12 months to pay it back in 0% interest. So you can use the entire $10,000 and not have to pay it back for 12 months. And you're wondering, oh, like I have to pay it back at a certain point. How am I gonna get the money to pay it back? With the profits from the properties that you're setting up in this business. So everything does end up making sense. Why does this business work so well? Because I always see 100% return on my investment within the first year. And you don't see that from a lot of businesses. You don't see that from the S&P 500. You don't see that from buying a property appreciating 3% a year. You see that from Airbnb arbitrage, because the money that you invest into furniture, with every deal that I go into, every deal my mentees go into, I always make sure it's a good deal. I'm never going to go into a bad deal. You can go into a bad deal if you're not paying attention, if you don't run your numbers correctly, which I'm going to show you how to do in this masterclass. I started this business with a credit card at 18 years old. Let me repeat that. I started this business with a credit card at 18 years old. And you can start a whole bunch of businesses with a credit card. In this one, you will see high profit margins. You just have to do the deals correctly. And please pay attention throughout the rest of this video, because I'm going to show you exactly how to analyze the deal, how to look for a deal, how to negotiate with the landlord, what to look for when you're looking for a deal. Pay attention. Let's go. So when you're first starting out this business, the first things that you're gonna do, set up your LLC, set up a bank account, and also set up a website. And after all of these things are done, then you're gonna move on to picking a market. What's the first thing that you need to do when you're picking a market is looking at the regulations. So how can we find the regulations of a market? And what market should you choose? Honestly, I would choose a market closest to where I live to begin with, even though this business can be automated and you can start this business anywhere, any state, with the right automations and systems I'm going to teach you in this video. But I would pick a market closest to you and then look at the regulations. John, how do we look for and how do we find the regulations? Well, let me show you here. So look, let's utilize ChatGPT, right? So let's pick a market through here and find out the regulations. I just asked, all right, what are the best markets? Which obviously this isn't the best way. I'm going to research market. I'm going to show you how to exactly do that. So let's say we just pick Atlanta, Georgia. For this video example, we're going to use Atlanta, Georgia. So let's say, boom, we have Atlanta, Georgia. Now what do we need to find out? We need to find out the regulations. What are the STR regulations in Atlanta, Georgia? Boom, so right here it tells us everything that we need. Let's see if it's feasible to start a business here. Host must obtain a short-term rental permit through the landlord's. Boom. Each applicant may license their primary residence and one additional dwelling unit, and non-refundable $150 due upon resubmission. So in this specific city, it doesn't look like you can scale buying properties, but it looks like you can scale by doing the method that we're doing, which is rent to rent, rental arbitrage, freelance property scaling, the same thing. We can do this because when it says one additional dwelling unit, that means each property owner can have additional dwelling units, which we can invest into the city, and we can operate multiple dwelling units because we are a property manager at the end of the day. So it tells us about the application processes. Boom. Make sure to use ChatGPT to your advantage. So look, we picked the market. The market is Atlanta, Georgia. What are we going to do next is we're going to look into AirDNA. And I have a good subscription on AirDNA, but we're going to look into Atlanta, Georgia. And we're also going to look into the submarkets, because we want to look into the submarkets because this tells us a lot about the unit. So boom, it's rated at 81. Annual revenue is 29K, which isn't that good. The market score is pretty good. Look at investability, 59. Not too great. Revenue growth, 87, which is good. Seasonality, 97, which is a good and a bad thing. So then we look at the submarkets, right? What submarkets are there? Which is the best submarket? Boom, Brookwood. Right here, wherever Brookwood is, let's click on Brookwood. It's rated a 99, which means they have a very good market, and the occupancy rate looks pretty good as well. It looks pretty even throughout the year. So boom, we've identified a good market right here. We're gonna look inside of Brookwood. So we're gonna start our market research inside of Brookwood right here. And what do we do next? We go to Zillow.com and we search up Brookwood, Georgia. All right, so we have identified Brookwood, Florida, and this is a place we're going to target, which has the most revenue and the best market in terms of Airbnb, according to AirDNA. So right here, we can set some filters, and some things I'd recommend you guys looking for. Whenever you set filters, this is what you can do. You can go down here, set days on Zillow, 30 days, and see which units have been up for 30 days, because sometimes this will be the easiest way that you can get a landlord to say yes. Because what are they looking for? They're looking for someone to rent their property, and they're looking for someone to do that shit now, right? So let's look at the properties that are available. So it looks like it's mainly buildings, and we can do two things. We can aim for buildings, but the easiest way to acquire units in a building is you offer to get 5 to 10 units at the same time. Or we can go for specific landlord operated properties. All right, cool. So let's say here we want to run numbers on this property right here. We ended up finding this property. We think it would be a good one. Atlantic Station is in a good location. Boom, let's get the address right here. We get the address, we take it to AirDNA, we go for the rentalizer tool, and then we type this address in. Boom, the address popped up. What is it gonna give us? Ooh, 84K projected revenue. What is it set at? All right, we have to check the settings, because look, right here, it says it's a 5-bed, 4-bath, which when we go to Zillow, it's actually a 3-bed, 1-bath. So you wanna adjust the settings here. Boom, 3-bed, 1-bath, update. All right, it gives us $47,000 or $48,000 in revenue, right? So this is annual revenue, so across the year. So how does AirDNA base these comps? They base it off 9 property comp set in the area. So when you look here, all right, what properties are semi-comparable? This one's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath right here. AirDNA takes us here. Okay, this can be comparable. How can we set up our property so it's a guest favorite, gets good reviews, and it's actually nice? So as we look here, the host did a pretty good job setting it up. They have pretty good photos. They could be a bit better. The finishes of the home are really nice. Let's see if this home compares to it. So when we look at the photos, boom. All right, it's actually updated. It looks nice on the inside. It actually looks furnished. Wow. This one's already furnished. So when you find furnished properties, it can save you on the setup costs. This actually looks like it might be Airbnb operated, and the hosts don't know how to properly operate it as an Airbnb. They don't know the pricing dynamic softwares. Boom, it actually has a patio outside. That's also very beneficial. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna look at the actual listing description. Like, why does the guy have it set up right here? Fully furnished 3-bedroom, 1-bath. Flexible midterm rentals. What does that tell you guys? This means the guy might be operating it and he doesn't know how to do it correctly. And as you can see on AirDNA, it can produce very good income. So 48K, we can compare it to the home I just showed you here, which we can set it up in the same way. We can make this even better, get better photos. Because as you can see, these are probably the same photos that he might have used in his listing, which are a bit blurry, they're not bright, the TV's black. You know, what we can really do is we completely go in, we set it up differently, set up the pricing differently, we make it look a bit better, we make it look flashy, and they can bring in even more revenue than the 48K. Let's say we base it at $48,000, right? And it's making $48,000 a year. So we type it into a calculator, and how do we calculate how much money it might make? So 48,000 divided by 12, what does it equal? This equals $4,000 a month, right? And we said the rent, so the rent on this property was about, let's say $2,600. So we minus $2,600. What does that give us? Boom, gives us $1,400. Let's say, you know, utilities are about $200 a month. Boom, utilities, we minus that. All right, then we're left with $1,200. Cleaning, we can say about $400 a month, right? So we minus $400 from the $1,200, which gives us $800. This would be the net profit, how much we would make every single month in profit from this property, right? And this is with no negotiations. So what I would do going into this property right here is I would negotiate terms. On this one right here, we can negotiate $200 lower, right? And that $200, if we get that to, you know, the rent from $2,600 to $2,400, that means we would be profiting an extra $200 a month, which brings our profit to $1,000 a month, which is $12,000 a year. And with this property, you don't even have to set up anything. I mean, you can make it much better. You can put a rug right here, make the photos better. You will have to end up spending some sort of money, but the main ticket items are already there. They're already there. So you don't really have to spend a whole bunch of money. So everything will be net profit. So let's say you spend $1,000, $2,000 revamping the property, getting up to par, which is already very good. Then you only have $1,000 to $2,000 to pay back on that 12 month 0 APR credit card. Let's say this property was completely empty and you spent about, $8,000 setting it up, which, the furnishings here look about like $6,000 to $8,000. Then you would make your money within 6 to 8 months, and everything after that is pure profit. But with this specific deal, it's a really good deal. I actually randomly clicked on this one right here, and I didn't actually mean to bring this listing up, but if you guys want this one, if you're in Atlanta, Georgia, free grabs. You can grab this property for you. You can set it up as an Airbnb. As you can see, it will make good money based on its comp sets. This one makes 46K. We can duplicate that. This one makes 47.8K. We can duplicate that. So we found a profitable deal right here. So what do we do after we find the right property? We find a profitable deal is that we contact the landlord. And what do we do when we contact the landlord? So we look at this listing right here. I get the address. What I usually do is put it in something like this, a B&B leads Google Sheet, which anyone can make this, right here. What do we put? We put the address of the property, number of bedrooms, 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, the phone number of the owner. All right, we can easily find that or have it right here. This is what I do when I have lead generation, right? Get the phone number of the owner, get the information of the property, My Peace Will Stay LLC, which is what he has on the website right now. We put the phone number, boom, what he's asking for, $2,600 per month. Response, this is when you call them. No, yes, maybe, follow up, name, Peaceful LLC. We'll just say that. Yeah, viewing, did we land a viewing, yes or no? If we did land a viewing, what is the date? So when you're doing lead generation, you just go on Zillow and you look through all these properties on the map. This is how I usually do it for the most efficient way to do it. You look at all these properties on the map, you add them to the actual Google Sheet, and once you have a whole bunch of properties, then you start calling. John, what do you do when you start calling these properties? There are a couple of main things that landlords look for whenever you're calling them, right? You have to address their pain points. What do they want? They want their property taken care of. They want to rent out their property, and they don't want to have to keep looking for tenants. So these are your strong suits on why you are the best tenant you ever have. Corporate housing, whatever it is. Hi, Peaceful says, this is John. I'm interested in your property. I seen it on Zillow. Is it available right now? And then you start talking to them, get personable a little bit, but understand you want to build a relationship with them because they are a person. If you land a property with them, who knows? They might have multiple properties. So you can end up doing property after property after property. And this is exactly what my student Hiram did. He's 19 years old. He got into the program not too long ago. And what he did is secured his first unit with his credit card. After that, he started getting properties referred to him because he did good business. So this is why you do good business from the beginning. You don't do anyone bad, and you actually move with business, and your biggest business partner is God. When your business partner is God, you can actually achieve greatest amount of things that you can possibly want in this life. But anyways, to get back right into the video. So when you call them, you give them your pitch, you formulate your pitch, and I have exact scripts for that, but they're in my mentorship group. If you want to take a look at that, you can DM me and I'll probably send them over for free. So you can use those exact scripts, email or call. I recommend calling the landlords because it's much better. And make sure you're tracking it, right? Track it in your B&B leads Google Sheet. Response, yes or no. Viewing, make sure you're following up because follow-up is where I get majority of my deals. If they don't answer, if they say no, if they say call me back at another time, I'm going to make sure that I continuously follow up. So now you found the property, you negotiated the property, now you need to sign a lease. You sign a lease, and then you make an addendum. And all this addendum is it gives you permission to operate short-term rentals in the property. And you can simply use my addendum, or you can go to ChatGPT, make me a lease addendum as I'm signing a lease for a new property. So boom, ChatGPT made us a lease addendum right here. We can tell it to add it into a PDF, make into PDF. Boom, makes it into a PDF, and then this is an addendum that we can use for the lease. What does an addendum do? It helps us override the lease. Let's say the lease has something to say like STR is not allowed, short-term rental is not allowed, Airbnb is not allowed, property scaling is not allowed. Then this overrides that so you can make sure that you're in legal compliance with the owner and with the city. So boom, this is the downloaded version. You can download it, do whatever you want with it. So after you sign a lease, what you're gonna do is obviously get a permit, and it's based city by city. So you look into the permits, you look into the city, you call the city, and you make sure that you can acquire a permit. After this, John, what do? You furnish the property. And let's say this property wasn't furnished, which you're gonna get creative with. Right here, I'm gonna give you an example, right? This is a duplex that I set up, right? I set up this entire Google Sheet. I put in links for every single piece of item that I need. So it's completely organized. And guys, when you're starting a business, you want to be as organized as possible, because when you're organized, you get to the point. When you get to the point, you get shit done in a timely, efficient manner. So the most efficient way to set up the property is you order everything online to the address or to a storage unit if you're investing in a different state. If you're investing in a different state, look into self-storages, call them and see if you can house your products there until everything's there. You fly in, or you hire people from websites like TaskRabbit or Facebook Marketplace, and you get people to set up the property for you, and you don't have to actually physically be there. This is the beauty about this business, is you can systemize it, you can automate it. You don't even have to be in the location itself. You can do it by yourself, and you don't need anyone unless you want someone to do it. You can either set up the property by yourself to save money, or you can hire people to set it up for you. In this case, let's say we're gonna hire people to set up the property for us, but we're ordering everything to the property. And this is very detailed right here. Very detailed, everything you possibly need. You can screenshot it, or you can ask me for this furniture sheet. And this duplex, as you can see right here, it gives us, all right, what store are we buying from? The category, is it ordered? Yes or no? Item, brand, quantity, price. It adds it to the total price, net total with tax. Depending on your area, you can adjust this with the percentages, right? So I had set up a duplex, cost me 10 grand to set up. So that means it cost me $5,000 per property, which is actually relatively on a good budget. I could have done it a little bit lower. I set it up in a way where I wanted to set up to make it really nice. So John, after you set up the property, how do you set up the property? What do you look for when you're setting up the property? Look, go on Airbnb, go on the actual website itself. Look at the best properties in the area. Look at how they're set up, and you can replicate it. Just like I showed you on AirDNA, right? It showed us the comps in the area. It showed us this comp. You can set it up. You can use this for inspo, set it up in the same exact way. Guys, use your freaking resources that are in front of you. You can do this. You can easily do this. Stop doubting yourself. You can set up a property. It's not so hard. You can design it. You can have a good eye for it, or you can hire a designer yourself. I recommend designing yourself. Get the experience, gain the experience. It's better whenever you're hiring employees and you teach them what you're hiring them for, versus you hiring them to do something that you don't know how to do. So with this business, you gain experience. You gain experience in many different things: running numbers, designing properties, setting up properties, negotiations, sales. All of these different things you're going to be gaining from starting this business. The skill sets are going to feed you for life. But boom, let's say we got the inspo now. We have everything set up on the furniture sheet. We got everything ordered, and then we set up the property, right? Now we go to setting up the description, the listing of the property. And this is one of my personal properties right here. It's a guest favorite, 4.9 stars, 90 reviews, guys. 90 reviews, 4.9 stars, guest favorite. This is a very good property. And as you can see, the pictures are really nice, right? I set this property up myself personally. The pictures are nice. This is the only messed up photo right here, right? When you're setting up a listing, you want to put the best photos first. And when there's TVs, you want to make sure that there are actually, like, you Photoshop something on TV and like give it like a purpose of a guest stay. So this is a property I set up. It's very nice. I love this one. I put a game table in here. I actually maxed out this property right here. And when you're setting up the property, you want to go through the settings. Obviously, you want to go through the location. You want to go through the photos. You want to make sure that the title is good on the property, and also the description, right? The copywriting about the space. In this section, you point out everything that the property provides in terms of amenities and the best things that you could put into the list. Multi-game table, washer and dryer, boom. What are people looking for? Location, what are the closest, most important locations? You put them in here. You consist and you concise what the property has in bullet points so people can understand, so they don't have to scroll through paragraphs. People don't want to read paragraphs. So make sure you concise everything and you make the listing as best as you possibly can. Where you'll sleep, set up everything. And Airbnb is going to help you whenever you set up new listing. Is going to help you throughout the entire process. Boom. Once we have the property set up, what do we do from this point is we set up our dynamic pricing. Dynamic pricing, and I'm going to show you guys exactly what I use for dynamic pricing. As I said, I'm going to give you as much information as I possibly can throughout this video. When I talk to you guys in the videos about dynamic pricing, I use price labs. So right here, this is the price hash for the property I just showed you. As you can see, every single day is at a different price. 110, 141, 107, blah, 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 blah. Why is this important? Boom. What does price hash show you? Shows you the dates that are most important, the dates that you need someone to book for a premium rate, which is the blue dates. The green dates are the ones that are a bit lenient, which you don't need someone to aggressively price your units. These you need to aggressively price in. Up here, what do we use? Boom, right here, you set your base price. You help me choose a base price, because Price Labs is going to help you choose one. You choose the one that's based on your market, set a minimum price, set a maximum price. Boom, once you have these settings up, now you have your pricing dynamic softwares, and shit can be very easily tracked. It updates by itself on a day-to-day basis. Look, last refresh 7 hours ago or 11 hours ago. You can save and refresh right now, which is gonna refresh again, and then you sync it with your Airbnb listing up here. Press sync now once it updates. Once you press sync now, everything's Gucci, everything's good, your pricing is updated. It bases it off the supply and demand in the area. So all these prices based on supply and demand. These are some of the settings that I put into my listing right here. 70% discount gradual or over 21 days. What does this do? Is it gradually decreases the price as the days goes on, so we make sure that we have great occupancy in our property. So this is the exact property that I was just showing you right here. Boom, why is dynamic pricing software so important? Look, 2-day stay, we got $600 for 2 nights. $600 for 2 nights. This is a 5-night stay, $3,500 for 5 nights, $3,500. And then we go to another 5-night stay right here, right? This 5 nights, $680. So you see why it's important. These days are important. These days have high demand, so we price them a higher rate. Boom, this day right here, $350 for 2 nights. This date right here, this booking right here, 6 nights for $700. This booking right here, 14 nights for $2,700. So this is why it's important to use pricing dynamic software. So this property made around $7,000 this month, in the month of May. Rent on this property is $2,000. Utilities around $300. Other, let's say miscellaneous expenses, $200. Cleaning, $500. Let's say we're at $3,000 in expenses. We have $7,000 in revenue. This property literally, look at me. This property literally made $4,000 in profit in 1 month. 1 fucking month. You can do this same shit. You just have to apply yourself. The information I'm telling you on this video, apply yourself. You can do the same thing. All right, my bad, guys. I just get in these tangents. Anyways, once you have the pricing dynamic software, what else do you need? You need automations. The systems and automations that actually make this business good. What other automations do you have, John? What other automations do you have? Boom. Messaging rules, automated messaging, new booking inquiry message, payment issue. Boom. Let's say, what does this look like right here? Thank you for our interest in property. We'd love to assist you. We will reply as soon as possible. Why is this so important? All these automated messages are meant to save you time. Once you have your virtual assistant, once you have the automated messaging, once you have the automated pricing, what else do you need? Everything is set up for you. Now you have the cleaners. Now you got to look for cleaners. Where do you find cleaners, John? Where do you find cleaners when you set up your property? You go to a website called Turno.com. Look, when you are looking for cleaners, it's so simple. Use this website right here. This is software/website. You can find cleaners on here, and you can also automate your business. You connect this to your Airbnb account. What it does when you connect this to your Airbnb account is it automatically sends your cleaner notifications whenever cleans come in. So it tells them the exact day. It gives them an exact checklist of when and how they need to do a clean. It tells them when it needs done. It tells them how many guests are coming to the property that day. So this completely automates the cleaning side of things, so you don't have to worry about that. You don't have to worry about it at all. It's automated, my guy. It's automated. So John, now we have the cleaning automated, we have the automated messaging automated, we have the pricing automated. What else do we need automated? Now we have the SOPs. What you can do at the point where you grow your business is hire a virtual assistant. I have a virtual assistant working for me overseas. You know, you don't pay him as much as you do pay people in America. Why is this important? Because it completely cuts in your profit margins. Let's say you pay someone, you pay them for 40 hours a week. Let's say it's $800 a week, $1,600. That's $3,200 a month. Or maybe I'm doing math wrong, but it's around $3,200 a month you'd need to be paying them versus hiring someone overseas, paying them, you know, $300, $400, $500 a month to work completely full time for you, doing everything in the back end. Let's say there's guest problems. You know, the virtual assistant talks to the cleaner talks to the virtual assistant talks to the handyman. So you want to make sure you have a handyman in case things go wrong in the property as well. Let's say guests cause damages and something needs replaced, a door needs to be put up, whatever, miscellaneous case, you need to make sure that you have a handyman on deck as well. And guys, like, it's kind of, maybe it sounds confusing to you when I'm talking through these things, but it's very, very simple. And me as a mentor, if you choose me as a mentor and you want me to teach you these things, everything is broken down even easier than this masterclass. There's just so much information that I need to put into this 1 hour, 30-minute, 40-minute masterclass. I can only give you so much information in this video, but if you want more guidance, obviously hit me up after this and click the link in the bio and we can talk about actually learning more about this business and getting you on the right track, telling you exactly step by step how to do exactly what I'm doing right now. But this is a very good base. This video is a very good base. It's a very good foundation. It's a very good video to learn from and start and automate your business from. I'm giving you guys so much sauce. People charge so much money for this. I obviously charge money for my mentorship. Time costs money. People charge 5, 10, 15K just to give you these softwares that they use. But I choose to not gatekeep it, because if you really want to, you can find it online. But you can't find the strategies online. You can't find the tactics. You can't find negotiation. You can't find every single thing that I'm going through on this video online for free. And that's what the point of this video is, to give you as much information as I possibly humanly can. So boom, your listing is now on Airbnb and you want to track how much money you're making every single month. Obviously, you're gonna go into your cleaning, you're gonna go into your actual Airbnb listing, and you're gonna use your monthly financial template, which is, this is the one I use. This is just a blank template with random numbers here. So this template gives you an opportunity to put in your distributed revenue. You can ignore this if you want. It's not as important, but it is important to track your analytics. So right here, you put the revenue, the rent, electric, gas, laundry, cleaning supplies, ring subscription, remote lock subscription, minute subscription. So what are these things I'm talking about? The minute subscription is decibel detector you can put inside of your units to find out if someone's partying. The ring camera is what you use for security. The automated checklist and the automated check-in. How do you host guests on automated check-in? Is you use smart locks, specifically scratch locks that you put inside of your property to make sure everything goes smoothly with the check-in process. So this is how you automate your business. You have the automated check-in, you have the automated messages, you have the automated problem solving, you have the automated cleaning, you have the automated maintenance. All of this stuff together, you put it onto the softwares, you connect them, and you put it onto the property management software, which I use is Hospitable, which I just use to actually, send all my messaging rules. I connect my Airbnb account, my Verbo account, my Booking.com account. I put them on this one dashboard, so everything is right in front of you, so you don't have to get confused. Your employees are not confused. So everything's completely organized for you. The point of this business, number one, learn new skills, cash flow, make money, automate, enjoy your time. As I was telling you, the reason why I started this business is because I found out it can be automated. That was my whole point. I wanted more time. I wanted more freedom. I wanted to make a lot of money. And this is a very scalable business. This is why I chose it. This is exactly in front of you why I chose this business. I'm just giving you fucking free sauce throughout this entire video. So I hope you guys actually appreciate what I'm telling you, and I hope you're actually watching throughout this entire video. So what did I show you? I had to lead generation, how to talk to landlords, what to look for, how to run numbers, know exactly how much money you're making in the property, what to deduct, how profitability works, how much it costs to set up your unit. I showed you the profitability, and I showed you the furniture sheets that I use. I showed you the lead generation sheet that I use. I showed you how to look for properties on Zillow, what to look for, what not to look for. So much information. So I just completely broke down for you the step-by-step process of actually starting your business. So now let's talk about leveraging, how you can leverage yourself for this business. So I just gave you the step-by-step playbook on how to actually start your own Airbnb arbitrage, rental arbitrage, property scaling business. So now we're gonna get to leverage. How do you leverage into this business? How do you leverage yourself, and how do you take advantage of the opportunities that are in front of you? So there's different ways you can leverage yourself inside of this business. The number one way is actually starting this business and funding this business, which you leverage yourself, you leverage your credit, and use 0% APR cards to fund your entire business. And that's what I did when I was 18 years old. And that's what some of my students do as well, is they leverage their credit cards. You can start this business with very limited funding if you have decent/good credit. And if you don't have good credit, what you can do is add yourself as an authorized user on someone else's credit account, so you can adopt their credit score, you can adopt the history, you can adopt all their information. And this helps you in the longevity, so then you can actually get credit funding. So that's financial leverage. Now we move into time leverage. What does time leverage mean? The systems and the automations that I showed you throughout this videos, the softwares that I use, these things all save me time. Imagine if I did all of those things. If I cleaned the property, if I sent those messages, charges, if I did the maintenance, if I constantly updated the pricing every single day, I would have no time in my day. I wouldn't know what to do with myself, and I would just be basically working a regular job. Point of every business is so you can automate it, so you can have people working for you doing the things that are not as important, so you can focus on the income-driven tasks, so you can focus on finding more properties, so your VA can help you. And this is why it's important to have a VA as well. Right? I have a virtual assistant. He helps me find more properties. He does lead generation. What I just showed you of how to look for properties, I have a virtual assistant do for me. So then I don't have to spend my time doing that. All I have to do is put the right people in the right places, sign leases, negotiate leases, and continue building the business and focus on my income-driven tasks. That's why it's important to have a cleaning team, the virtual assistant team, all the software I just noticed, so then you can truly be automated, so you can solely focus on growing the business itself. By you having all these automations, these softwares, you can severely grow your business 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 properties and actually have fulfillment, be able to fulfill these guests and make a whole bunch of money. I have multiple students that have done exactly what I told them to do, and they're very successful. Throughout this video, I've given you the exact framework to actually start your business, which is something I actually do for my students as well. I have a whole bunch of students that have seen tremendous success throughout this business. Like my student Patrick. Patrick started when he was 16 years old. He leveraged his credit onto an authorized user on his parents' account. He signed a lease under an LLC and he made it work. Now he has 6 cash flowing properties that make him money every single month. He's now 18 years old, making what 50, 40, 30, 60-year-olds are making, that work in medicine, that work in law, that work in engineering. Just because he took a leap of faith and he actually instilled exactly what he was supposed to do and followed a blueprint. Patrick was working a minimum wage job, obviously at 16 years old, lost, don't know what to do, found me. We guided him through the process of actually securing units, getting units, negotiating units, automating his business to now he's actually making good money. If Patrick did at 16, why can't you do it at the age that you are right now? One of my other students, Rashed, and actually both of these students are in my previous video. I think the video is titled How My 17-Year-Old Mentee Makes $20,000 a Month or something like that. So scroll down and you find that video and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. And exactly like my student Rashed, he has 6 to 7 plus cash flowing Airbnb properties making money every single month. He's the same age. He's actually a year younger than me, making a whole bunch of money because he followed a simple framework and he used me as a resource. Guys, use the resources around you. You need to use the resources around you. The people around you, the modules around you, the courses, the frameworks, the masterclasses, the internet, your phone, all of these things you can use to your advantage. This video you're using to your advantage if you've made it this far. Just like Rashed did. Now Rashed's making multiple 4, 5 figures a month because he followed this exact blueprint, this framework, which I taught him. All of this shit is real. Everything that I showed you in this video is 100% real. I showed you numbers, I showed you AirDNA, I showed you Zillow, I showed you all these things that are real life results on how you can actually make money. So simple. You just have to follow a framework, you have to follow it, you have to stay disciplined, and you have to apply yourself on a day-to-day basis. I also have my student Hiram, as I was talking about earlier. He started at 19 years old. He's 19 years old right now. He joined the program 60 days ago. He joined my mentorship 60 days ago. He's now at 3 properties, secured his 3rd property. In April, he made $4,000 in profit. Let me repeat. In April, he made $4,000 in profit and he started 60 days ago. Why? Because he applied himself. Did he have funding? Very limited funding. He used a 0% APR credit card. He got funding for $7,000 to $10,000. Got his first unit, got his second unit. Now he's moving on to his 3rd unit. And all of these are beach properties where he's banking on every single month $4,000, $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 a month in revenue from each single one of these properties. Another student named Brandon, he actually works in real estate. Brandon's a realtor. He's in school just like Hiram is. Hiram is actually in school just like Brandon is. Brandon got his first property. Brandon's cash flowing at least $2,000 a month in pure profit. Another student, Arnold, he invested into his property in Dallas, Texas. He's 29 years old and he's now cash flowing every single month. All of these people and all of these students learn from me and my program. And it sounds like I'm just, selling you into my program, selling you into my mentorship. But what you need to understand is by you simply watching this video, how much knowledge have you learned about the Airbnb business? Imagine getting into a program, getting into a course, learning directly from someone that's constantly doing it every single day. You are going to learn. You're going to have discipline. You're going to stay ambitious. That's why it's important to have mentors. I literally have invested over $15,000 in different mentors. And without this, I wouldn't be where I am now. I simply would not be where I am now if I didn't invest in mentors. And some idiot commented on one of the videos and said, why would a millionaire teach another person how to be a millionaire? That's impossible. No one does that. Why wouldn't he just gatekeep what he does? There's enough money in this world for everybody. I'm not gatekeeping. The information I told you in this video, you could probably find find out online, but it's not gonna be as condensed as this. Millionaires learn from other millionaires. People that make six figures learn from millionaires. Millionaires learn from billionaires. Billionaires learn from trillionaires. That's the only way to learn, is to learn from somebody that's doing better than you. Somebody that's doing better than you. That's how you learn this business. That's how you learn any business. The importance of learning from someone else's mistakes. I've made so many dang mistakes I can't even remember. But I've also prevented a lot of mistakes because of the mentorships that I've invested into. Just like my students. Could they have made a bunch of mistakes? They could have, but they didn't. Why? Because they learned from my mistakes. They learned from my successes. They learned from my systems, my automations, my step-by-step constant guidance every single day, every single hour, every single week. I'm here for my students so they can actually succeed. I truly believe that God blesses people that bless other people. That's why I like helping people. Yes, do I charge for it? Of course I charge for it. Time is money. Nothing would be valued if it didn't cost money. If I gave everything out for free, do you think someone would value it? If I gave my program out for free, you think someone would actually go through the modules, would actually talk to me, would actually join the group calls every single week, would actually ask me questions? Probably not. This video, this masterclass right here is a stepping stone to get to where you want to be. If you want to learn more about this business, obviously, this is a free video. But if you want to apply yourself, obviously, you can enhance your acceleration. You can enhance your education in this business model by simply investing into a mentor, by investing into programs that will actually benefit you. Make sure the person that you're investing into will actually benefit you on a day-to-day or weekly basis and actually have the right information that you need to learn to be successful. There's a bunch of people online that don't do what they're actually talking about doing, and in this video, it's proof in the pudding. I've showed you so much information on what I do from the moment I turned 18 to 21 now. I'm actually making $50,000 a month, which seems unbelievable, but I'm wanting to make more. I want to make more money. I want to reach new heights. I want to be a millionaire. I want to be a billionaire. I want to be a trillionaire. The sky is simply the limit. And as cheesy as that sounds, the sky is simply the freaking limit. You can do anything that you want to in this life, but what you need to do is stay consistent, stay disciplined, stay a man of God, continue praying to God. The more you pray, the more you get rewarded. The more you help other people, the more you get back in return. The more you donate, God gives you back 10x. Always remember that. So if you choose to learn more about this business and you specifically learn from me, what is included in Leverage Lab? What is included in my mentorship and in my program? Well, let me tell you exactly that. And let me tell you, it's as much information as I possibly can give you in the simplest form to make you as successful as humanly possible. And with direct access to me, you get to DM me, you leave messages in the Discord, which I'm going to talk about the Discord, get to text me, ask me questions at any time, we hop on calls. And along with the calls, we have the weekly group calls every Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Why do I have it at Sunday? Because most people don't work, they're 9 to 5s. Why do I have it at 7 p.m.? Because usually if someone's enjoying the day, they get back home, we hop on these weekly calls and we guide the students through exactly what they need to do, whether that's going through a deal like I showed you, or going through Airbnb, or running numbers, or showing you how to find leads, or showing you how to negotiate with landlords, going through simple negotiations with specific deals that you're going through right now, what to say, what not to say. That's why me as a resource is so important, because you get the actual source of the business. John, what is also included? I literally have about 10 hours of course modules recorded by me, step by step by step. Like this masterclass, but more organized. Simple videos, step by step, telling you exactly what to do, when to do it, how to do it, and way more information that's in this masterclass. Like I said, if this masterclass went on, it would take about 10, 15, 20 hours to get the information that I need to get to you. If I covered every single piece of information in this masterclass that's in my program, it would take obviously 10 plus hours. So that's why I have my program, so you can actually go through each individual module. And don't let it confuse you. You know, it's not so hard. It's not something complicated. I try to do it in the simplest form. If my dumbass understood this business at 18 years old to the point where I'm generating money now at 21 years old, why can't you do it? And how I have it set up is so even dumbasses, even idiots, even stupid people can learn this business and apply themselves. Along with the step-by-step course modules, step-by-step training, access to me, the weekly calls, you have all the files I just showed you. You know, those Google Sheets, the furniture sheets, I have those, but the updated version. I have pitch decks, I have website examples. I tell you exactly how to set up your website, cleaning checklists, maintenance checklists, everything from A to Z that you might possibly need. There's about 15 plus files, lease addendums, leases, everything that you need to start your business is in the file section. Everything that you need to start your business is in the courses section, is in the module section. Everything that you need answered is in my head. and is going to come out to you. We also have the Discord. Some of you might be in the regular Discord, but there's a premium inner circle Discord with Leverage Lab, which everything is systemized and automated, so you can ask questions at any time. They're answered at any time. Unlimited support, the best community ever. I love everyone that's in the community already. Everyone is ambitious, everyone wants to work, everyone's constantly putting in the work every single day, every single week. People are constantly growing together, and that's the best thing about the program itself, is that I'm motivated from the students and the students motivated from me, so everyone's constantly growing. How does the program work? It's a structured roadmap, step by step, in the simplest form, as I told you, to get you on the path that you need to be on. Once you join the program, you're grandfathered in. The price that you're paying now is the price you're only gonna pay forever. And I'm with you throughout the entire process. I want to see you succeed. I want to see you make money. I want to see you to get to 10K a month, which is very easily achievable. Getting to 10K a month is a piece of cake if you have the right resources, if you have the right knowledge. You just need to apply yourself. This is what I tell people when they join the program. Think about it like this. You can lead a horse to the water. You can't force them to drink it. I'm gonna give you the information, the exact information, step by step, and resources to me, access to the files, access to the courses. But if you don't apply yourself, if you don't learn these things, if you don't do them, then how do you expect to see success? Is that in the simplest form? Apply your discipline to business, apply your discipline to life, and you'll see tremendous success in it. I take pride in myself. I take pride in my program. I take pride in my subscribers. I take pride in my followers. I take pride in my mentees. If you lose money, you can always make money. The one thing you cannot regain, the one thing you cannot rebuild is your reputation. I take my reputation very seriously, and I'm going to make sure that you see success, but it is up to you at the end of the day. If you don't apply yourself, you won't see success. If you apply yourself, you'll see a tremendous amount of success. Just like my student Haram, just like Brandon, just like Arnold, just like Patrick, just like Rashad, just like Nick, just like everyone else inside of the program. They're going to see success if they simply apply themselves. But listen, honestly, spots are limited. I only take about 5 mentees every single month, so I can have the time and the focus to give them my time and day to teach them the proper playbook. If you're thinking about building a real, sustainable, automated business that cash flows you money every single month, and you're serious and you don't want to waste my time, then click the link below and apply to work with me. Applying to work with me is very simple. All you have to do is click the link, answer a couple questions. Me and my team is gonna get back to you and see if you're the right fit. I really want to benefit you. I want you to make money, but if you don't want to make money, just click off this video. If you really want to make money, apply it below, and I'll see you on the other side. The opportunity that you have in front of you right now is tremendous, and if you don't take it, it's just gonna go to the next person. You have opportunity to change your financial future, to make 10, 20, 30, 50, 100K a month if you actually apply yourself. So I hope you truly benefited from this video. I hope you learned a lot about this business and me and how I operate. All I'm gonna leave you guys at the end of every single video: take your life seriously. Do what you want to do. Nothing is gonna come on a silver plate for you. Nothing is gonna be done for you. No one's gonna make money for you. You have to do it by yourself. You live in this world alone. We die in this world alone. We don't take any of these things to the grave, but why not make our lives, our families' lives, our parents' lives, our kids' lives as best as we possibly can? There is an opportunity in front of us, and we just need to take it. Life is all about opportunity. When opportunity is presented, you either take the opportunity, you take advantage of the opportunity, and you do exactly what you need to do, or you let go of this opportunity and it goes to the very next person. Hey, make sure to follow my Instagram right now. I answer any and all DMs, and like I leave you guys at the end of every single video, make sure you pray to God. I'm out.